How's everyone doing today? Today is Wednesday, April 7th. I didn't look at the date today. How about that? We're getting better, right? If you're new here, how are you? Welcome, new people. My name is Evan. This is Fifth Third Trading. I'm still trying to decide on the best channel name for my episodes when it comes to these live watch lists. Me and my boy Grillman here are trying to find the best one. We had Stocks and Bulls, which is a sexual kind of joke that was in our heads. Sleep Tight Swing Trade or whatever it is. I'm trying to find an episode name. So again, if you have any kind of suggestions, please comment down below for a good, watch this show kind of name. If you're new, if you're ever on the TikTok and the Twitter and you're like, damn, how these guys keep finding these tickers that are so good. And then you come back a week later and you're like, damn, they're all down. No. Well, for the folks on TikTok, they certainly are. You idiots. But if you're new here, I'm going to show you technical analysis. Well, I guess we are, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're going to show you guys technical analysis. We're going to show you supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, EMA lines, volume profile, RSI, stochastic, and vortex. And then put all those 9 things into one big picture for you, and you can see what I see technically. Our first ticker of the day, BDR, I even go over the fundamentals with you, what I look for online for some good fundamental websites. If you're an intermediate trader and you're really good at what you do, but all you do is technology and energy stocks, I'm here to show you some diversity. Again, I have a whole video on sector rotation, again, why I'm focusing healthcare and utilities and financials and real estate and such, why I'm focusing those. Again, you need to kind of think about that and get deeper in knowledge with the macro markets and the indexes. With that being said, if you really enjoy this content, again, a like, subscribe, and the bell notification does help me quite a lot, especially the subscriptions. I'm about 80 away from being at 5,000. It does mean a lot to me and my boy Gremlin. That's a good boy, right? If you don't like me, which is totally understandable, but if you like cats and dogs, you want to help feed my kitty and my puppies, please subscribe so I can feed them. Lastly, I guess second lastly, but lastly, importantly, the Discord chat is still up and running. You want to have a 7-day free trial, let me know. I don't like folks buying shit they never got a test. I hate that. I hate when you go to like Target or like you go somewhere and you get something and then you get home and it sucks, you lose the receipt and everyone's upset. Right, you want a 7-day free trial, check it out and make sure that's the right fit for you. It's educational based, it's not live calls or financial advice, it's educational, make you a better trader kind of stuff. Check it out. If not, head over to Patreon and just join, that's cool too, but absolutely no pressure. If you want to have this relationship online with me, my cat, and my dumb office full of knickknacks and me, that's fantastic too. Lastly, that I need to mention, as always, is that there's a bunch of really good traders online. Please make sure you find the good ones and avoid the bad ones. If you notice that every ticker that they call is the same exact one that everyone else calls, that's probably a bit concerning that they have no idea what the hell they're doing, which if you go on to TikTok and Twitter, not many do, but that's okay. If you like me, you like Ricky Gutierrez, you like Zip Charlie, you like Rainer Tao, whoever they may be, again, there's some fantastic folks. Please also subscribe to them and follow them. I'm so good at what I do. I'm great at risk versus reward and 3 to 20 day swing trades. I put those two things together, bada boom, bada bing. Take what I have and you can then put it into what you want to do and you'll become more successful in my opinion. But what they do is so much different than I do and they're probably equally as great. So again, I don't want to push the narrative that I'm the only one you should be watching. Again, you should, even if you're in the Discord, you want to be with me on the Discord, you should be in other people's stuff, watching other free videos, or you want to do other subscriptions. I'm not going to be offended by that. The goal is to be educational, and that's why my channel is very applicable to picks, which half the YouTubers are, and the other half is very applicable to education. I put those two things together and bring it to you. I actually have an education degree, so again, I feel like I'm probably the most viable person for doing that. With that being said, we have 8 tickers. I do cut one out, so it makes it 7 tickers today of really good picks. And with that being said, I appreciate your support. Like, subscribe. Please subscribe. I want 5,000 subscribers, please. And with that being said, Mr. Gremlin, let's get into it. So today we have 8 tickers for you. As I said, we have our major indices going right now. I'm just watching those as we go through them. Do we have 8 really good ones today from different sectors? Again, I am focusing a few of them: real estate, financials, utilities, and consumer cyclical, and most of all, healthcare. I really enjoy healthcare plays right now, given earnings are kind of falling off. We have a lot of really good FDA plays and some really good, with COVID going on, really a big focus on that. So those are the big ones I'm focusing today. So the first one's BDR, and you're like, but where's the lines? Well, I'm going to show you them and do them together with you so all the newbies can do these with us and they can learn everything they need to learn and what every line means. So we can go with our first one's going to be our supports and resistances. If we zoom in, we can see we have a very clear one right where this is at, probably right about here. And again, you got to draw your own. This is only a watch listing show. If you do not draw your own lines, you're dumb. So we have our support. I make it 2 widths, so it's easier to see. Then I'm going to activate and make sure. I think it's probably more serviceable, probably right about here. You know, pretty clear area of support right there. We can then duplicate this line and make our resistance. Now you should have, if you're doing this by yourself, have 2 or 3 of each, 2 resistances, 2 supports. That way if it does dip below the first support, you know where you're going. And if it breaks the first resistance, you know where it's going. So I keep it pretty simple for the show, just to keep it not very spaghetti-like, you know, mom spaghetti. Our first resistance is probably right about here. Then I make my resistances orange. So that's out of the way, looking delicious. And again, you can have a support, you know, at 135, maybe one down here at like 128. Again, just for the purpose of the show, to keep it easy, 2 lines. When it comes to a trend line, there is an obvious one coming through here. Start at the bottom right, left, and go up to the right. And we can see right about here is our trend line I'm going off of. But again, we'd miss a bunch of moves. So I'm kind of zooming up a little bit, come through a little bit of price action to hit more moves. And I'm going to do redraw as a channel. Bada boom, bada boom, bada bing. The reason I'm making a channel, I'm on high alert, right? If it hits that top channel line, which is right here, it hits this, I'm on high alert. I'm not always going to pull the trigger there because I know historically it can get lower, but it does also bounce here. This way I have options, right? I can wait for the proper kind of convergence. I want to see supports, trend lines, and a pattern for every single one of these. If there's no trend line, that support and pattern better be choice, right? So again, I want to see all these come together. We can see this channel looks really good, make it into a nice little golden channel. Those are my trend line colors. Extend right as always. Looking good. What I'm going to do is duplicate this and see if there's any kind of resistance trend line. Again, there's definitely not going to be one, but I think for my price target, I'm going to put one right about here. And the reason I'm putting one right about here, I can see every single solitary time it spikes and it's orange again. I may make it dotted so it's easier to see through. Right, that's our resist. That's where we want to probably get out of. We can see every time it gets a big spike, it hits this line. So again, your price target should be based on that, but again, I wouldn't be too sure it's going to hit that. If you can get 10-15% in a quick move, I would just get out. Looking really good. Last thing, we go to studies. You have to add volume profile. I have it saved. Volume profile, we can see we have our 70% lines. These yellow lines, these are going to show you where 70% of the action happens. Now, I'm not going to put these as in supports and resistances. These are not going to be that kind of traditional sense. What they're going to show you is most likely towards the bottom of that channel, given no terrible news. A lot of bulls should probably buy in there. And then towards the top, near this resistance area up here, there may be a lot of bears buying in. Again, this is not to be used as support and resistances, but it can be used that way. There's a bunch of shapes that come involved, and I'll talk about that for a second. But again, I just put these so I know where most of the volume is going to be. I make mine a channel, make it dotted. Gives me an idea that, you know, maybe these are some good buy-in points or selling points. And we can see the POC, which is in the middle here. It's kind of hard to see with this resistance here, so maybe move the resistance up just a little bit to make it easier. This area down here is called the POC. It's red. It's called the point of control. It's very gravitational. It's going to take price action and pull it towards it. Whether you want it to or not, it will. Now, the farther away from it you get, the weaker it's going to get. It's like a planet, right? But the closer you get, the stronger it's going to be. And again, it is a little cramped in here. It's the first one. I always do the first one like this. Boom. And there's our chart. So again, you may be like, this is a lot going on over here. Yeah, that's convergence. And when I spoke about the shape of volume profile, this is a freebie for you. There's usually 4 shapes: capital D, lowercase b, capital B, and then an uppercase P, which are more rare, but usually uppercase B as well. So D's, B's, and P's. It's really good, you know. We're out here rhyming, looking real good. And this is definitely a D. And the reason I say you can also say it's a lowercase p, but again, that's not really applicable, seeing as this one spike is not really going to be all that important. So it's a D. And when you have a D, it's telling you that the lower in the D you can get, the lower down here you can get, the better. Because the lower you get in the D of a volume profile, the more likely it's going to be bulls buying in. Towards the top, more likely bears. And we're in the middle. So again, this can go either way. Volume profile for me, not doing too much, but it is saying that there's a bunch of volume here, so we should see it shifting up and down and consolidating. Consolidation does lead to big moves, and more stock takes its time in the middle. It's like a spring compressing, compress, 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 and boop, explosion. So you definitely have to use a stop loss for this one, because if it does pop low, you don't want to get caught. So that's our charting for this one. That's all I do for all my charting, looking real nice here. So what I'm looking at here is this. We have a support area anywhere from 140 to like 145. Anywhere in here, the price does get held up pretty well. We can see it does have lower lows, okay, but across the board historically. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. This one did get close, but still a higher low. Higher low and higher low. So it should, if this does be consistent, again, trend lines do break and it's okay. And this should reverse between here and 136. So I definitely, if you're confident, your stop loss should be like 135, 134. If we lose a higher low on this one, I would definitely be afraid because it's a macro scale one. So this does break here, a little bit concerning. But this is a great area, strong support. And as always, risk versus reward has to be the number one issue here. You know, if you're really nervous, it breaks it down 3 or 4%, get out, right? It didn't hold what you want, get out. Now, you will be, you know, another extra 1.5% to be very sure it's going to break, sure. But your resistance is almost 8%, 9% away. That off the bat's a 2 to 1. If you get a full move, like a good one, like up to where it used to be over here, we're talking 17, 18, a full move to the resistance, 35, 40%. BDR is a great ticker. I called it over here. I was like, this looks pretty good, and it ran up almost 10, 15% for us, and it would have hit my price target. And again, what's important with these kind of markets, now it's very bullish, but again, people put their price targets far too high, and then they're like, oh man, I don't ever get any of my profits, I want to hit the price target. Lower your price target, like 5%, my boy. You're being a little bit ridiculous, right? So you can see easily here, if you want to put your price target at like 193 or $2, you're being ridiculous. If you want to put your price target at like 160, right? What's that going to get you? 11%, and you're going to get out. That's great stuff. The S&P returns less than that. So if you can get in one trade and do that, you're looking real pretty. Let's check the indicators. What's super cool about this channel, besides me, I showered today. Ooh, looking good. Besides that is that I do not look at the indicators while I do this show when I scan. When I scan for stocks, I have a huge watch list, and I also look for new ones and new opportunities. I do not look at these. I have no idea what the EMA lines look like. 10, 50, 200, what the RSI looks like, what the stochastic looks like, or the vortex, which is very similar to MACD. I have no idea what these look like. So we're going to go through these together. That way, when I go through these live with you and on YouTube with you, you can see what I see in live time. Again, it's only exclusive to this channel, Fifth Third Trading. Make sure to subscribe. We can see it's super muddled. So again, right click, clear drawing set, hit yes. Do not leave. If you go to a different ticker and come back, it will not be salvageable. Control Z brings it back. So just to see what's going on, clear drawing set, let's check it out. It's below both the EMA lines. So what's that mean for us? You're gonna see very often on this time frame, as I bring back the charting so I don't lose it, on this time frame, when the price gets above the 50 and the 200, the 10's a good sign of confirmation. If you can get above the 10, short term, looks pretty good. Above the 50 and the 200, you get most of your big moves on the 180-day, 4-hour chart. So until you get above that, your price target should be what? Lower, because if you can't get above both these, you're going to have a problem long term. So as it is right now, it is below both of them. Your price target should probably be close to 155, 160, because you may spike above it and then come back down. Now you can see it does bounce off the 50 and the 200. It respects the 50 mightily. Even you can see it's even fighting it today. If you can't get above that, I wouldn't really buy in. Why would you? So if you want to wait for a 50 EMA crossover, aka the price is coming, EMA line's coming down, and it gets back above it and crosses above the 50, that's a great sign of strength. You want to buy in at value, also fine. But I would definitely wait for 50 EMA crossover for this one in particular. RSI is fair. It's fair, but it's coming from up and down. Now it does get overbought much more often than oversold. And so if you were to buy in, hopefully you can get in 37, 36 pips. If we can get in around there, ride to overbought, that'd be beautiful. Stochastic is low. You want it beneath 40. Once it's negative 40, you can wait for a curl. And by curl, I mean, you know, it's coming up and down, up and down, up and down. I wanted to get below negative 40 and curl, as I call it, curling north. If I can get it from going down to curling north, that's a good sign that the price action is starting to turn, the momentum's starting to turn to positive. So it's down here. It is slightly curling. Isn't that beautiful? It's coming down. It's slightly curling. If we can get that blue line over the red line for a move up, it's going to be beautiful. And then, of course, the vortex. A bit confused here. You want to see optimally for swing trading, you want to have the bulls, which are green, and the bears, which are red. You want the green to be oversold and red overbought. That's the perfect time to buy in usually. But once it does cross green, and once we do have a bull run up, you can ride that whole momentum. It just crossed red, so I would be remiss not to mention you may want to wait for this to get down to maybe 75, 68 kind of pips, and then you can buy in. So BDR, long term, it's fantastic. I would definitely give it a day or two before I bought in. Now what I'm going to do real quick with you is show you the fundamentals and what I would do fundamentally as well. So fundamentally speaking, first thing I'm going to do is I go to tipranks.com really quick. I'm going to type in BDR. I'm assuming there won't be any information on it because it's small cap. That's where I focus. Who knew? But we can go to stock analysts, not rated. How about that? But what I would do usually, which is ironic, you go to here, you type in like Microsoft, whatever the ticker you're looking at. You see what the price targets are going to be, plus 12% upside. That's usually the average. So you have about that. I have the premium, so I can see who's buying it, like Stephen Jew's buying it, Keith Weiss is buying it, and I can check out what their success rate are and stuff. You can go to investors, check it out, bloggers. A lot of people are big on, Microsoft right now. Insider trading will be listed for you, and then the stock, 10 points. Obviously, Microsoft's always good, right? So I'd go to TipRanks first, and then I'd probably go to FinViz real quick if it wants to load. Then I go to BDR. Again, it's a smaller cap one. It's in technology. Again, I don't focus technology right now, but I like what its potential is. No index, that's fine. That means I'll probably follow the Russell or the S&P for this. Again, it looks like it's having better earnings per share than it was before. No, the sales are dropping and the shares outstanding are rising. Not great for that, but insider ownership is pretty high. Insider transactions pretty high. There's not many people actually shorting the stock, only 3%. So it looks pretty good like that. And what's also interesting that I like to do is I go to technology then, or I probably go actually communicative equipment, and I can check out the other tickers. So I'm going to go to the charts here. Any of these look similar? Again, these are all looking pretty bad. Like Camp looks pretty good here. So does Boxel. I go through and check if any of these look very similar or different. If they have anything that looks very similar, they're all looking pretty good. Like a lot of these, like CLFDs, definitely add a good value. So is CMTL, and so is Crint. I would go through these and check for similar setups. The reason I do this is if I really believe in BDR, would I want to believe in similar companies, right? So I go through this and check these all out. The last thing I would do is go to marketwatch.com. I type in BDR again. And this is a very base level what I do. I do a little more in-depth stuff than this. And I go look at the news real quick. This has a good place of looking at, what they do. Looking pretty good. Looking good. Now there's not much news on it, obviously, but before I look up, press releases, all right, looking pretty good. April 7th, they have a new recipe for non-compliant notice. Look at that. Who knew? Did I know that? So, is that going to change my mind? It certainly could. So, I'll go through all these, check it out, and do that kind of thing. And again, this is the first one. I show you all the inside stuff. The rest of it's going to be on you. But BDR, let it get through that news cycle, make sure it's okay, and then check it out. Could be really good. I'm not going to spend that much time on all these. So next is DVN, Devon Energy. Energy, again, a good sector right now. I think we're rotating away from it, but it's been on fire recently. Look at this. Gorgeous trend lined up. And again, once, twice, close to 3, 4, 5. And again, I emphasize this. If a trend line only hits twice, it's not a trend line. Any idiot can draw a line from point A to point B. You can anticipate the third hit, but until it does it 3 times, in my book, not a trend line. We have 5 times here. The importance of this resistance trend line is that it's a broadening top. Whenever you have a setup that looks like this, it's like a megaphone. Do-do-do-do. It goes like this. You must believe if it's not going to hit this resistance trend line again, you must wait for the next pattern to show itself. What I'm saying is, if I do not think that DVN is going to make a move of 39% or so, which it can, it's done that before. Again, let's not be confused. But to think it's going to make a 39% move up here, maybe. I don't think so. If it doesn't succeed, if it does have a high and then comes back down, we must assume that this pattern or this resistance trend line is no longer viable. And we must use only the support trend line, and then again wait for the new resistances and the new higher highs or lower highs show themselves to make the new pattern. But DVN, right at support, obvious support area, right? Price action stops, it tests it, price action stops, it keeps getting tested by it. So what's your risk? Maybe 3 or 4%, and again, I think you should aim for maybe right over this resistance line, 7, 8, 10%. DVN, looking delicious. Let's check the indicators. So it's hard to see. Again, you may get confused with all the lines here, but we can zoom in, see that's right up below the 50 and bounce off the 200. And this is what I mean. You get some pretty big moves above both lines, 5%. If you're like, that's not a lot. Well, if you keep losing and you're checking me out for that reason, what's up? I think 5% is better than losing. So you want to wait for it to get back above the 50. That seems logical. I would definitely wait for it to get back above that 50 line to buy in, or wait for it to bounce off the 200 again off email lines alone. The RSI, it gets much lower than this, and again, I think it does have huge drop-offs, but it is uptrending. So again, the RSI is not the best for uptrending stocks. It does reverse here, though. You can put your cursor and see quite a few times it's reversed in this area. So I'm not overly concerned. If it does continue to dip, I'd be happy because I think we should see a 200 EMA bounce then. So if it does kind of dip off more, that's great. Stochastic's right where you want it, but again, it is pointed south. There's no sign of a reversal yet. And you throw in the vortex, which just went red, you can see that the bulls were just overbought, and now the bears are kind of getting up there. This is due for a small pullback possibly. So am I going to buy this tomorrow? No. Am I going to watch this today? Yup. I'm going to watch it the rest of the week. DVN, if it does pull back, fantastic. You just got a better deal on a ticker that I truly do believe in. If it does break the 50 and keep going north, and that vortex right here, this vortex does go green, and the bears do die off, and this does curl north, and this does curl, and it breaks the 50, great. Now you have a sign of confirmation. But buying in when it's still dipping off like this, with no clear sign of value or an EMA crossover, is a little bit foolish. So DVN looking good. Give it a day. All right, take your finger off the trigger and relax. DVN in a few days, you'll know what's going on. It'll be a great pickup. Next is FHB. One of my Discord members pointed this one out. Shout out to you, old boy. Appreciate that. This is a tasty snack right here. Again, less information about this one needs to be said. The support area is super, super critical. You can see that's right here, maybe. Maybe it's a little bit lower. Maybe yours is at 2670. It's up to you. You must do this yourself. So if you do not trust me fully, which why would you? Look at me. No, I'm kidding. But this is a great support area, great trend line. Again, the risk is very small, 1%. If you're nervous, if you wanted to have the trend line be perfect, perfect. You wanted to stay and it dies, sure. And maybe you wanted to go all the way down here, all right, 3%. You can see the first resistance is 4.5, so that's already a 4-to-1 if you're being super risk cautious. If it breaks and makes a full move to the resistance trend line, which is possible, 20% and some change, I mean, you can't beat it, right? It looks really good. Let's check the indicators. Once again, on this time frame, the 50 EMA line has been mightily important to us. We can see that it's right below it. So what's your play going to be? Again, we have convergence. We have that. Now, we do not have a sign of one or two things to buy into. An EMA crossover, which is above the 50 or the 200 or the 10, depending on you. But I want to see a 50 crossover. I want to see this price action right here get above the 50. From there, I want to see it do that, and I'll buy in, or it gets a better value. Now, I think the value would probably be somewhere around 26.91. And again, you're probably, that's not that big of a difference. You're right, but I'd rather see a better value, or I want to see it get close to the 200 EMA line, right? I think it could easily hit on a support line 26.50, so I want a better value or a crossover. Here, we're kind of in no man's land. RSI is low. It's good. It's good. It could be a little bit lower, but it's good. Stochastic is getting to where you want it to be. We need to see that curl north, and again, our bears, they're fairly oversold, and our bulls are oversold. Our bears, a little bit overbought. So again, that's really good. FHB, First Hawaiian, again, give it a day. Okay, we're still fighting to get higher on the S&P and the NASDAQ. That resistance line we're consolidating. If we drop, don't buy this. Don't buy any of these. Right? You should wait. But if we do get above that resistance line, this could be a fantastic pickup. You can get 20% in a full move. FHB, like it a lot. So next is Five Below. That's a good retail store. Again, I think this has a day or two. It has a day or two baked into it. So don't come to me tomorrow if it dies or goes and you're like, oh, I didn't get the move. Shut up. I love you. It'll be okay. I think this has a chance to get down this trend line. Now, it does reverse a lot before the trend line. So this may turn around. In this support area, all right, it should be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. I think a very modest one would be down here. I think your best support for this to balance is probably around here. But again, it does reverse higher. This is an ascending triangle right here. See, higher, low, same resistance. Higher, low, same resistance. Higher, low, same resistance. It's trying to get above 203. That's going to be your breakout play. Now, some folks are going to wait for it to get above 203, then buy in. I don't get breakout trading like that. If we have a obvious trade that looks like it's going to break above 203 eventually, why don't you just buy it at the best deal you can get it? So this does come down, maybe comes down to 3% or so, and then that's where our play is going to be. This one does need a day or two. I'm just getting on your radar now because if it does turn around tomorrow and we see that the NASDAQ and the S&P does reverse, this could easily get you 5, 10, 15% on a continuation move. It has a lot of potential. Again, stores are opening up. They have good earnings report. They're doing pretty good here. 5, I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. On this time frame, we can see the 50 once again and the 200 once again show themselves to be mightily important to you. It's bouncing off the 50. This is why I'm saying this is such a crucial thing to do with you, is to show you these indicators live, because I didn't even know about this. This changes my mind a lot about this. And we can see how important the 50 is. Bounce, 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 bounce. This is very much like this ticker cake. You look up cake, like Cheesecake Factory. Same thing happens constantly. It bounces off the 50. It does break the 50. So I would anticipate, most likely this is going to break the 50 tomorrow, come down a little bit farther, tap our trend line, then I would definitely go in. So I'd give it a day or two, but 5 with the 50 on, again, shows you a lot. We can see the RSI is, it's fair, but it's uptrending. You're not going to have a great value all the time on an uptrending ticker. That makes no sense, but it is very close to being where we want it to be. Maybe at 40, so maybe 9 more pips if it does pull back tomorrow. That's your go signal. And then stochastic, again, has been following this thing beautifully. We're in this area. Again, it has more to pull back. You want to say probably get -60, -55. You can go in. And again, it's consolidating here for a big move. Consolidating, 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 consolidating. Big move, right? That's what it does. Consolidating, consolidating, consolidating. What's that thing from, what's that, Steve? What's that called? He goes, oh yeah, hold on. I just got a notification. I got, yeah. Developers. Right, that's a good 1990s joke for you guys who are old. This is definitely a terrible joke. I'm getting off track. I have 20 minutes, and I'm definitely over the top today. But, the vortex, the bulls are oversold, bears overbought. 5, again, minus my terrible joke that I'm not going to edit out because I don't want to. I think this is definitely a good place to buy into once it pulls back. So FIVE, I like it a lot. So I was going to talk about FUV, and I'm not going to now. 1, because it's down 10% in one day. That's not good. And we can see there's earnings. I didn't even catch that. And I think it's still living. Again, put this on your radar, FUV. I think it's going to be a good play in the future. I have faith in it. I do. But man, I hate earnings. I don't like playing off of them at all. And it just had it. So FUV, take that bad boy off. You can, again, do it yourself, but I don't trust it that much. So next is NLSN. I've called it before. I actually called it right over here, and it ran up pretty well, and now it's coming back down. My trend line was different, and that's the importance of this kind of thing, is that I watched this stock and think the trend line was like this, if I do remember correctly. It was kind of like this, and I was watching it, and then that was weird. But then it came down and bounced, and I called it. But now that it's broken that pretty hard, we're going to do a bump and run kind of pattern. This is what we're going for. This support, again, is very up to the user. I think you want to put it down here, possibly at 24.36 is fine. I'll keep my prior on here now. Now that the day is kind of ended red, I can reassess. I think this is a good area. This trend line is super strong. And again, are you going to break the bank? No, you're not going to be making a bunch of money off of NLSN. But an easy 7, 6, 5% to risk 1 or 2. It looks like 1.95 to break everything. 2 to 1 kind of play. If it does run up 3 to 1. It's a really nice looking play. Your resistance trend line needs to be taken into consideration as well. Maybe it's over here, depending for you. Maybe you're like, oh, it's definitely wedging. Maybe it's a channel. The rule of thumb usually is you got to draw it from the same exact kind of area. So I'd definitely go with like right here. And you can see it was kind of a broadening top. No real shape for resistance trend line, so I'm not going to take into consideration. I do see a lower high though, and so that needs to be taken into consideration as well. If this support and trend line breaks, I would just get out. But NLSN, super easy read, super low risk. Let's check the indicators. We have some clarity. It breaks below the 50, so what can we do? Wait for value, whatever that may be for you. Where your support line is, that should be your value area, or for a 50 EMA crossover. When you get above both of them, as you can see, you make money moves. Above 250, money moves. Above the 250 the whole way, money moves, money moves, money moves. That's going to be your go signal. This, once it gets back above it, should be really good. RSI does reverse here, but again, I wish it was a little bit lower. But if you got lower, you break the support and the trend line. That's what I want. That's fine. Stochastic, again, not curling north, not a value. Give it a day. Let it come down to -40 at least. And you can look to buy in. Then the bulls just took over, but bulls are overbought. Bears a little bit oversold. We don't love to see that, but we do have some good run-ups when this happens, as you can see. Whenever the green gets above, you got 3, 5, 10 days of running it up. So I think NLSN right now, a good purchase. Not the greatest on this list, but I think if you like low risk, medium reward kind of plays with super obvious indicators, NLSN is for you. So next is REZI, REZI. Again, what a beautiful channel. And this is the importance of sticking with tickers. I've been watching this one for a hot minute for a buy and entry, and now finally I have one. Now this is also a technologies company. Again, I don't like focusing technologies right now, but when they're all at a good value and green days and it's been consolidating, maybe we'll get some value out of this. Super obvious channel up, and again, super low risk. Let's modify our supports. This is obviously a little bit too high. I'd go with probably right about here. It's probably a really good value one, 27.72. Again, this all breaks down. Oh dear God, I lost 2%. I gotta call my accountant. I lost 2%. Oh God, no. For most of you guys who were here, you lose more than 2% every trade you take. So again, that's my worst case scenario. Looking pretty good. Our best case Ontario here, if it does keep going, again, 3-to-1 ratio to our first resistance. Beautiful. Chef Boyer swings in the house, baby. A good move to get higher highs. 15%. Love it. So again, really good looking play. I really like the run up. Again, I don't love technologies, but maybe, you know, REZI has some great stuff in the works, so check it out. But this support plus this trend line, POC is nowhere to be seen down here. Volume's getting pushed up. Looking great. Let's check the indicators. We can see it consistently breaks below the 50 to come back, and we just broke below it. So again, you have to wait for value wherever that support and trend line meet, up to you and your drawing, or you have to wait for it to get back above the 50. Both are fine. The RSI could be a bit lower, but again, it does reverse almost every time it gets down to where it is now. That's good. The stochastic, again, could be a bit lower, but it is low. We need to wait for it to curl north, or again, come down, break negative 40, show some life, then we can buy in. We also see that the bulls were just overbought, and now they're coming down to being oversold. They have maybe another day or two, and bears, again, are pushing that up. So I think the best entry is going to be probably off of value, seeing as the vortex just went red. If that does happen and the bulls do come down to, you know, wherever they reverse at, looks like they probably reverse somewhere near, you know, 77 pips. They come down there in that area, that'll be your best chance to buy in. Now, if this does start to consolidate back and forth and break back above the 50, that's a whole different story. But it looks like it may take a day or two, but REZI, I like it a lot. Last and certainly not least, SLB. Schulenberger is having some crazy volume. I don't know what they're doing or what their secret sauce is in their company, but folks be buying. I think your best support line may be a bit lower than mine is, but I'm trying to go off this trend line, so I'm trying to kind of make it work, which is against what I usually do, but there's definitely some support area in here. I just think the best strong one would be somewhere around 2650, but you can see how much it wicks, right? And I already know if I turn on volume profile, there's going to be a big divot here. Oh, who knew, right? So like, this area is probably your best support area, this 26 area, but there's very low volume, and so it wicks down. Think you're gonna catch that? I doubt it. You're not gonna catch that. So this is definitely our strongest high node support area. And again, if it does break everything, you're gonna lose 1%. Hold it. You know, 3%. You lost all this area. It didn't hold. That's fine. That's not a bad stop loss at all. Your first resistance is 4% away. It's pretty good. Just to get to an average gain would be about 6.5%. It keeps running higher highs, 13 some change. So again, we're risking 1 or 2% for a big move. And again, this may take weeks. This may take months. We're swinging. We want to get one full move. It may take some time. You have to believe in this company, do your fundamentals. If this checks out with you and you can hold it for 3 months, you may be very, very happy with what you buy into. So I think the support's good. It's pushing all new high volume. It's trying to get above everything. It's due for a pullback. Maybe it keeps going, but you know, if it does pull back, we can probably try and buy it around $23 if it keeps going down. But this has no sign of dropping yet. Higher lows across the board. SLB, I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So it's beautiful. It's bouncing off the 200, and again, it's getting squeezed by the 50. And so you have this nice little sandwich happening. If it does break above the 50 and holds, that should be your go signal. I'm also sure I could probably zoom in here to the 30-day. This is my other one. You can see it's below both the EMA lines. Okay, the 20-day, below both. I'm sure it'll be below both on 10. Yep, so you want to zoom into maybe the 10-day or the 20-day, and once it breaks above the 200 and the 50 in these time frames, that makes a lot of sense. I'd say this time frame, because this also lines up perfectly with the other one, so if it breaks above the 50 here and holds, it could be a great sign to go long. Now it does fake out, so again, make sure your stop loss is based off the 52. Worst case, you break even, not a bad trade. RSI could be lower. But again, it's, you know, uptrending. It's, you know, about a week ago it was down here. Now it's up almost $1. So I mean, it is, you know, it's fair. It's a fair value, but it gets overbought quite often, and we're not quite there. So we have some room to run up, I think. Stochastic is low. It's gone north south, and now what's it doing? Starting to curl north. Pop a like, and we can see that the bulls and bears are consolidating back and forth, very tight here. You'd want to get in, you know, probably down here. That'd be fine. But, you know, you can even see that we're oversold here, but you're way lower over here. So it seems like the Vortex is a bit confuzzled. If it can hold green, great. If not, I'm not going to take too much weight into that. So SLB, the last one of the day, but again, very low risk. Your 200 EMA line, your support line, and your trend line. That's 3 things in your favor, including the stochastic where it is right now. That's convergence in action. Now you wait for your own set of what considers a good value, or you wait for that 50 EMA crossover. But SLB needs to be on your watch list. So with that being said, we ended the day with 7, started with 8 tickers. I didn't like one of them, and again, I'm not some hack who's going to be like, I said 8, I'm going to force it in. No, it didn't work. I don't like the earnings play. I got rid of it. Also, if you were watching this whole episode, you may not have noticed, but my kitty, he wanted to join us again. He's joined us for every episode now at home, and this is about as crazy he gets. He's a good boy. So if you like this kind of content, if you like having cats in your videos who are much more well behaved than your cats, because I actually know how to raise kitties. It's actually my fiance's cat. She's much better with cats than I am. She's the best. So we can see that we have our cats, we have our tickers, we have a sweet office with an Overcooked plushie and Cleveland gear. What's up, Steelers fans? If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It does mean a lot to me and Gremlin. If you want to disappoint this kitty, look at him. That's right. They want to disappoint. Oh, the stretchies. They don't want to disappoint you, not do they? No, they don't. So if you like this kind of content, you know, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below. I appreciate all your support. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers. The fact that 5,000 of you find me that interesting is, 1, amazing, and 2, equally disturbing. Not gonna lie. No, I'm kidding. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.